So let's start. So very good evening to all of you. We plan doing something today, and that is on real-time tweets or sentiment analysis using Twitter data. So some couple of discussions before we start. All right. So I want you guys to just say a few things. Okay. So has any of you, maybe by chance, have you kind of worked on a project like this before? I think where is that Dashan boy? Oh, he will say, why are you taking my name, sir? Okay, so why do we have to focus on this actually? So can someone tell me why we have to use Twitter data instead of any other data set? So what might be the reason? Did we randomly choose that, or do you think there might be a reason for that? Okay, guys, I think it's better I type because my writing is so good. Okay, I found an option here. Okay, so why what? Twitter data. So this was what I asked, like, why are we actually using this? Why are we using Twitter data? I believe you know what we are talking about. We are going to do real-time mining on what? Twitter data set. So it will be a case study on this. So my next question is, why are we using Twitter data? Because whenever we talk about data mining, right, think of it like someone looking for information, right? So you go to KGF, Cola Goldfield, you are looking for what? Gold, right? Now no gold is there, you get only gold dust. If there is actually, I don't think also gold dust is there. Okay? Or you talk to diamond merchants, right? So they are mining for diamond, right? So think of mining as an activity. So what is mining? Just an activity, right? Where you look for what? Something that interests you, right? So in mining, I'm actually looking for what? Substance instead of shadow. In Nigeria, we say you leave substance and you start pursuing shadow, right? So I'm looking for substance, okay? That substance is something that translates into cash for now, yes? So if we are going to look at data mining, we are not going to define it. I believe everybody knows what data mining is. So data mining means what now? I'll be looking into raw data, right? So I'll be looking into what? Unprocessed data. Okay? So from this unprocessed data, I need to draw conclusions. I need to make inferences from this unprocessed data, right? So, or we call it draw conclusions, right? Draw conclusions. Fine. So if I'm going to do this, then I need to look at data that is a representative of the real world data. So I'm trying to answer the question. I asked myself this question and I'm answering it. So why Twitter data? Because it represents what? Real world data. So what are the features of real world, or you call it real life data? Can somebody say something, guys? See, when you talk of real world data, what are the characteristics of real world data, or what actually sets real world data apart from other sources of data? Do you know what I'm talking about, guys? Data can come in various sources, yes or no? Okay. Today is Sunday, so don't disturb us. So when I'm talking of real world data, I said we are using Twitter because it is a representation of real world data. In this real world data, the data is messy, yes or no? Okay, I'll be taking names now. Is this buffering? I can see it's excellent here. All the connections, from my side is excellent. Diksha? Gayatri, can you just tell me, are you able to hear me? Okay. I need a confirmation. Am I still audible? No, sir. You can't hear. What is no, sir, now? Can't you hear me? Okay. I think I'm talking to myself. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I will continue. All right, thank you. Okay, because Mohan Kumar, you said no, so then I also was confused. Okay, so fine, thank you. Srinath? Okay, fine. So I will continue, all right? I know there is a time lag in between because it's a live stream. Yes, Aditya, welcome back. Okay, so why have we chosen Twitter data? Because it is a representation of the real world data. So what sets real world data apart from clean data? Because I'll be showing you some data sets which has been cleaned. Actually, if you joined the last stream, that was last week, where we looked at heart disease data sets, right? The data set was in CSV file. It was kind of cleaned. There were no missing attributes, nothing at such, no outliers. Everything was perfect, okay? But in real world data, most of the data is messy. So what I mean by messy is, yes, not Lionel Messi, okay? It is noisy. It is unstructured, okay? So you can use big words. You know, you guys are very good at English. You can use another big word, which is what? Unstructured, which is what? What else? Even I don't know. It is messy, it is noisy, it is unstructured, it is heterogeneous, right? Fine. So in nature, and all this stuff for us to make meaningful insights, or for us to gain meaningful insights, we have to denoise it. We have to clean this data. We have to process this data. So what are we talking about here now? We have to do what we call what? Pre-processing. If you ask me to give a representation of what we are going to do today, it will revolve around getting the data. So maybe if you represent it with a pseudocode, getting the data. So in this case, now I'm talking of dataset collection, okay, or dataset creation. Fine. So once we create this dataset now, it will translate to the next step, right? So the next step is not an extensive step. So the next step will be kind of data pre-processing or data cleaning. You wash with soft, okay, soft powder. So this is called pre-processing. So in this pre-processing, we'll be removing some stop words. We'll be removing, some symbols. We do the stuff, and after that, the data is cleaned. We start now building the model, right? So after we have removed this, we go and build this model. Okay, so we can now say build the model. Okay, so in this case, and I'm kind of creating an ML model that will take maybe like a user ID as an input, okay, do this cleaning and then make prediction, okay. So finally, I will train this model. Okay, fine. Are we training for now? No, we are not training, okay. Rather, we are using inbuilt library functions or API, okay. So you're going to see that. Then after this, now what we do is we now do what? Deployment, okay. So after we finish building the model, we now deploy this model. So I want to run something for now, and let's see. Oh, sorry, my WhatsApp is on. Sorry, guys, I just need to take it off from there. 1 minute, because I'm using my headset. Okay, that's silenced. Okay, let's get back. Sorry about that. So the last one is deployment in real time, right? That was what I said, right? So in real time. So let me run this for now, and then I will show you what happens, okay? And I'm going to fire up my Jupyter Notebook. In this case, I'm not using Jupyter Notebook. You're going to see it here at .ipymb. But now I'm using my PyCharm, all right? All I need to do is I just right-click here. I'll click on Run Main Model. Now, it's going to tell me no model name Twippy. No problem. I know the reason. I will get back here. Oh, it's buffering, is it? I'm really sorry. Terminal again. All I need to do, I will just say Python main. No, thank you, .py. Okay. So I'm going to run this now, and it's going to call up something. So yes, thank you. So now I hope you can see my screen. So I want to demo this first, because this is the last stage, which I said deployment, okay? Yes. So this is the last stage, which I says deployment in real time. So let's just get there, and I'm going to show you everything step by step, okay? So first thing you can see here, I will just click on this. So for now, I think it's going to start buffering because as you know, I'm in the college and the college will not allow us to access Twitter website. So I will try a couple of things here. I hope you can still see my screen. Okay, I will try a couple of things. What I will do is I'm going to try making analysis here. Okay, I have trained this. Okay, so I'm going to use Elon Musk to get this stuff. Now, once I call this up, so you're going to see here, it says tweepy.errors.tweepy exception. Okay, so why this exception? I'm going to tell you. Okay, so if you go down to this, please remember the ability to understand the error code also is what sets you apart from others. So this error is as a result of the firewall blocking my access to social media, especially Twitter here. Now, if you look here, it says tweepy.error. This failed to send requests, okay? And maximum retries was exceeded. So maybe what I can do is let's Google this and see what it's actually telling us, right? So I'm going to Google this now. As soon as I get back here, see, it's not telling me, showing me anything actually. So let me look for the recent one, getting error while accessing this Twitter API. Even I have checked a couple of things here. So this error is as a result of my firewall. So what I'm going to do, I will come back here. I will use my VPN. Let me see if this sorts it. So if it doesn't sort it, please listen, guys. I will switch to my mobile data just to demo this, okay? And, oh, yes. Okay. So please, can somebody post this link in the 2023 group, actually? I think many of you are not in that group. Sorry, many of them are not there. I mean, they didn't join my, my machine learning workshop. Okay? Okay. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Yes, I posted that. All right. Told you before I went offline that is going to buffer, right? So the reason is I actually want to show you this prediction in real time, okay? And I will not disconnect, all right? Thank you. I will not disconnect moving forward, okay? What I will do is I want to show you the end product and then we start building this, okay? So finally, I was able to make analysis, okay? Perform this little analysis on Elon Musk's tweets, and this was the, his sentiments. Most of his stuff revolve around, most of his sentiments were neutral. Around 50% of them was neutral. Then around 38 positive and very less sentiments, okay? Very less sentiments. Around 13% was negative sentiments. Now, I'm going to continue because we will not be able to demo this, okay, the deployment on Python Flask. We will not be able to demo it. However, we will look at other, aspects of the training. Fine? So there are a couple of things we need to understand, okay? So I'm going to touch on that briefly and we start building this model, okay? Please listen. So I found this thesis, my MSc thesis, by obviously an Indian, but he is based in Sudbury University in Ontario, Canada, right? So his thesis revolved around, please look here. His thesis revolved around sentiment analysis on Twitter data using machine learning. Okay, but this was not live. It wasn't live. Okay, so don't get confused. There was no live, whatever. Okay, live tweets. All right. So he never used live tweets here. How do we know? Because I have read this, right? So let's look at what he did, because this will form the basis of, it will give you an understanding of what we are going to do. Okay. So if you jump down to, I think it's on page 20, I think so. All right. So the aim was the aim was just to build a machine learning model, okay, that will be able to, take some historical data sets. I'm used to saying clinical data sets. Historical data sets from Twitter and then make prediction. And for that, he looked at what's it called? I think some data set. Yeah, look here. He looked at the Brazil World Cup 2014 data set. Okay. So this data set is also available for you to use. Okay. But remember, we are not going to look at this. We are going to take live tweets and then make predictions based on those live tweets. However, the possibility of you looking at what historical data sets and removing some of the, cleaning the data set is also a good, skill to have. Because if you look at this properly, guys, you will see hash symbol is there, right? Fine. And then you see many of them like in caps lock, uppercase letter, lowercase letter, and all whatnot, right? Fine. After this now, what he did, he looked at, he explained to us how many tweets that he actually analyzed. And this dated back from 8th June till 15th June of 2014. So Brazil 2024, okay. Prior to the, I don't know, yeah. The World Cup lasted for 40 days, fine. And the number of tweets that time, for this period of 8 days was around, 14,15,985. So we say it's 1,450,958, sorry. And approximately it was 268 MB. Now, over the span of the World Cup, this data set increased exponentially. Just for 40 days, right? Just like 5 times this. The data set has jumped. How many times? Who knows? Even I don't know. So it has moved from 264 MB to 4 GB. Okay? And you see, just between these games, the hashtag Algros, that is Algeria, something I don't know, maybe, I don't know what is Algros anyway. Algeria versus Russia, I think, yes. Algeria versus Russia, the hashtag alone generated more than 2 million tweets, which accounted for 50% of what the data set used for this analysis, right? Okay. Now, something I want you to understand is the pre-processing, right? Remember, we said you got the data set. Now you have to clean it, okay? That is pre-processing. Now we look at this. Now what did he do exactly, okay? Remember here, guys, like I don't know how many tweets are generated every minute, okay? And how many tweets are generated every day. You can do the maths, right? You ask Google, Google will tell you. Millions of tweets are generated on daily basis, fine. And where does this data, where does the tweets go? Where do they store it? Obviously, it's no longer in a centralized system. It has to be decentralized, fine. But to make analysis or to do real-time tweet mining and analysis becomes challenging, right? That's the era, that is the era we live in, the era of big data, where you no longer look at data that is stored or cleaned and maybe kept in a location. We are looking at data that's free-flowing data, live data. Now, what he did, he chose Python as language of choice, and he used NLTK, right? Fine. And applied NLTK on that. Now, what he did, remember we said in this and noise reduction, what can be noise in this football data sets? What do you think can be noise? So anything that is deviation from the data set, say example, we are talking about Algeria versus Russia, right? And somebody started talking about China versus US, right? So nobody is interested in that. So I can filter those out, right? Now, look at this. You see, this is maybe like, this is the intro, okay? And this is the conclusion, right, of the whole matter. So between this intro to conclusion is where the magic happens. So magic happens after pre-processing and building the model. So this we can call it the magic box or the black box. Please listen. Black box is not only pre-processing. Before you say I said only pre-processing is the black box. So between the input and output is your black box, where you do all the cleaning and everything, and then you do the analysis. Fine? Do the analysis and then prediction. So what was actually done? And that is what you are going to do also. What was actually done? You can see remover of URLs. What's another name for this? Hyperlinks, right? Hyperlinks. So your hyperlink can be HTTP. Obviously, it is Twitter, HTTPS, right? Okay. Awesome stuff. And this RT, remember, RT at username, okay, and the hashtags. So filtering of repeated words. So this we can actually call stop words. Can I call it stop words now? Example, you see I use lots of stop words, right? I would say like and, so, all those things like say so, and it doesn't add meaning actually to what you are mining, right? And so the, like that, a, and like that, okay? So you see many of these words get repeated, fine? So we can filter them out and then focus on only what? Unique words. Unique words. Fine? Then I need to remove special characters. @ symbol, hash symbol, ampersand symbol, or blah, 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 okay, etc. Fine? Okay. And white spaces. Yes? Say I want to say Brazil 2014, Brazil like that, space 2014. So when I remove this now, this becomes one word, right? Like Brazil 2014. Fine? Okay. So this was basically, what he did. And then after that, now you see, please look at the pseudocode. Fine? Or you call it the algorithm for pre-processing of the Twitter linguistic data. So Twitter comments or textual data, usually in form of what? CSV. Now, pre-processed data, that is the output, right? So in between inputs and outputs is all this, right? First, initialize a temporary empty string and to store the result of the output. Replace all the URLs, okay, with, so we are going to use this library function, right? Array. So we need to import regular expression. Now we replace this at username with the word at user. Fine. Filter out all the stuff. Look for this, and obviously we need this, regular expression. We need this string. A special character filtration. We need to filter out the special character from that. And finally, return the processed tweet. Okay. I want to talk on something else where you need to, before you make analysis, you compute the polarity and the sensitivity of a tweet. And based on that, you categorize the tweet as either positive, negative, or neutral. All right? Now, let's get back here. So you see, before pre-processing, this was the size. Then after pre-processing, okay, that size reduced. Okay, after removing URL, it reduced further. Yes? So I believe this is in kilobytes. Oh, sorry, this is the computational time. This is the size. And you see, the size from 4K, it has come to 3,420. Yes? So yes, there is, the size has decreased a little bit. Okay, kilobytes is almost negligible in the era of GB and TB. Now you look at the computational graph. This is the size in percentage, and this is the process time it took in seconds. And you see, this is the time taken, against the size filter size. So, or the file size, I beg your pardon. So that means you see the file size as it decreases. Please listen. As the file size decreases, look here, little bit, right? It decreased little bit, okay? What did you notice? The time increased. Yes, obviously. Because it's like that is what we look for when we build machine learning model. What should increase? What should increase? Accuracy should increase. We give an upward trend. Whereas what? Loss or error, okay, should do what? Decrease. Then this means that the model is kind of maybe tending towards perfection. Yes, we don't build perfect models these days anyway. And then chapter 5 revolves around NLTK, okay, where he applied LLP. So this is what mostly we're going to do, all right? So in here, we kind of now look at the complete or maybe the architecture of the proposed methodology. Fine. So he took this data was fetched. So instead of fetching now, I will say mined from the knowledge base, right? So from the knowledge base, now please look here, okay? From the knowledge base, see, remember this is like two-way approach. Pay attention, this is two-way. Input and output, think of it like that. So we perform parts of speech tagging or POS tagging, remove stop words, perform stemming and lemmatization, tokenization, word disambiguity and whatnot, and then finally compute the sentiment polarity. So based on this polarity, so I can write an if condition, right? Say if the polarity, okay, say if polarity, Paul, I'm going to use, is less than 0, I'm going to say it is negative. If polarity is equal to 0, I will say it is neutral. Else, it is what? Positive, right? So these are the three things we saw, and this was actually how this model was built. Sorry, this one, where you saw positive, neutral, and negative. Fine? All right. Now, I want to talk about this and then we start. That is polarity. Okay. So I will jump straight to the polarity section, right? So I will make this available also. Fine. Please feel free to go through it. You're going to learn, get some insights here, because I'm going to skip out all this theory. Fine. But I want to highlight this. Okay. After lemmatization and all whatnot. So just imagine, just take an example of this lemmatization. Okay, so the word is already tokenized and you see lemmatized tweets. So see, children becomes child, women becomes woman, swimmer is swimmer, then and I and like just become, and then say finally swimming, this here, swim. Okay, removing stop words. So we've discussed that, right? Okay, which only have little emotional meaning to this. Okay, and it doesn't affect the sentiment score when you apply it to lexical resources. So you can actually see it here, right? So this is the word tokens without filtering stop words. And this, okay, this is without filtering stop words. And this other one is after stop word is removed. Fine. So you see the ones highlighted in bold are stop words. So we have dealt with them and it's no longer there. The rest are kind of making, okay, the rest kind of contributes positively towards building this. All right, so POS tagging. So I'm going to show you the table as well. So you see, this is from the word token, we perform POS tagging. Okay, think of it as grouping this. Okay, now don't talk about maths. Don't bother us so much. Just go and run this. That's what we are interested in. I can feel most of you telling, sir, why do you delay the class? I don't know. So the reason is when we start building this model, right, you will understand where the magic is happening. Okay. So I'm just scrolling because I want to get to what? Polarity. Maybe I'll search for it. I'll perform Ctrl F. I'm going to search for polarity, right? Polarity. So you see, oh my goodness, there are so many of them. Okay, I think I'll start from the first one, 67. So it says assigning sentiment polarity to the word, right? Now this is how we do it. Okay. So the first one is input sanitized POS tags with the word. Okay. Now this is the output. So you see some score is assigned. Can you see that, guys? Yes. So for this, it is the score is 0. Then for negative, this is that, and then some score. Okay. So for you to understand, you need to read this. What is preceding it? Okay. So what is how you form the dictionary, the word dictionary structure and everything. And then you just generate the polarity. And from here, you kind of calculate the total positive score, which is a summation of all the total positive scores plus the positive score of, what is this? So you see, we called positive score of what? Positive score of, what is this S? Go up. I think sentiments, okay? And then the positive score of this, total positive score and that, and then similarly we calculate the negative one, which is again an average, sorry, not average, please, summation of all the negative score of that, and then with the sentiment. Remember, this sentiment is here, this S is there, it's actually not there. Fine. So furthermore, for each tweet that sums up the total positive score and the total negative score is compared for labeling against that. Okay. So based on that, we now say, okay, please look here. This is the final whatever. Okay. The sentiment analyzer. Let's call this sentiment analyzer. Now we say positive or 1, negative or -1, neutral. That is okay. Fine. So if this score is greater than a particular threshold, say it is positive. If it is less than a threshold, say it is negative. Otherwise, it is 0. Okay? And that's how we build that. So based on this now, you can actually see, taking this input data now, okay? So this is my input. If you look at this properly, it says I am, remember after, removal of after cleaning, right? After cleaning, okay? So I'm getting here, I'm connect with word cup and it is good. Connect each other, word cup, maybe connect each other with blah, 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 and something like that. Now, total positive score is 1.0. Total negative score is 0.75. How did we decide that this is positive? Obviously, 1.0 is greater than what? 0.75. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Okay, I want somebody to say something. Am I fast? Am I fast? Amanat? Mohan? Okay, can somebody say something, please? I don't want the phone to be listening to me. Okay, so what is yes now? So I'm fast. See, the problem is this. I don't want you guys to reply in one word. Am I fast? No, sir, you are not. Yeah, little fast. This is what I want. Don't say yes, sir. Just say yes, little fast, or yes, you are fast, something like that. Okay, so why didn't you tell me? Right? Okay, so I will go a little slow. I said, see, given to sentiment score, okay, how do you decide the polarity? That is the question, right? So to answer that, we now compare the both values. The one with a higher threshold value, okay, becomes the sentiment, right? Now, comparing 1.0 and 0.5, 1.0 is greater than 0.5, so it is a positive sentiment. Let's look at another case. Fine? So match day, ag, v, bell, ag, bell, World Cup, tos, sem, bell. Okay? So, again, 0.0 is not less than 0.0 is equal to 0.0. So I can say 0 is not less than, rather we can say it's less than or equal to 0, or we can say this is exactly equal to 0. Then it is neutral. Now look at this again. Okay? So you compare these two. 0.375, you can think of it at 37.5 and 12.5%. Which one is bigger? Obviously, this is positive. Now, let's look at the negative case now. So, 0.0375 and 1.12. Obviously, this is negative. Okay? So, and if you look at, please listen. If you look at, go back to the data set. Let's look at the data set. What can you make out here? Actually, you can predict this. Now, just imagine, okay? Please, let's do something. Just imagine that I'm going to highlight these guys. Just imagine that these highlighted cells are not there. Okay, these highlighted cells, I cross them. So just imagine that they are not here. And you are supposed to build this model, all right? So let's start from here. What will you look for to classify this as negative? Please listen. What will you look for to classify this as negative sentiment? Don't, right? Don't enjoy, obviously. Disgusting, upset. So if I have seen these three words, don't, meaning I do not. Disgust, disgusting, upset, terribly angry. So for me, this obviously I'll classify it as negative, right? So this word that occurs more in this in the word dictionary, or you call it in the list, okay? Or let me call it word dictionary better. Okay, is more on the negative tone, right? You remember I was telling the class, I will beat you. I will beat you. Okay. So it depends on how I say it. If I say I'll beat you, and I mean, you literally know I was kidding. But if I say seriously, I will beat you now, like that, I get angry visibly, this fellow is no longer playing, right? The same way, look at these other ones, preceding one. Child, woman, swimmer, I like swimming. So this obviously I'll say is positive, right? Cool. Now look at this one, match day, ag. I cannot find anything, right? I cannot draw any conclusion here. So I might say it's neutral. Try to be that machine, okay? Or try to be that algorithm that will decide. Fine. And now over to this one for sentiment analysis. And I'm going to highlight something now. So now we know what is sentiment analysis. Why is it actually needful? Because, I forgot to address that. We know why we do sentiment analysis. Example, to identify, say, or retain potential customers. How many of you have been to Decathlon? If you have been to Decathlon, just type I. Decathlon Mysore. Or Decathlon any branch. Just type I if you have been to Decathlon. I will wait for a while because I just need to talk about this. Yes, you've been to Decathlon. Just type I. Okay. Yes, the reply will keep coming. So what happens is, see, after you finish purchasing, okay, they will tell you, please, we need your feedback, right? One positive, I think another one negative, and another one neutral, right? The positive will always be presented first. Green color. Green color. All right? So, see, I'm drawing in green, I'm just drawing in red. Anyway, so the first one, I have seen them, okay? Couple of times, they want you to click on this, that you are happy, right? Happy face. Then another one will be like neutral face. I think, how do I draw neutral face? I don't know. Neutral face? And the last one will be angry bird, right? Angry face. So I think like this is angry, okay? So this is angry face. Now, if you watch, consciously, they want you to click on the first one. I remember yesterday I was pissed with them because I needed to exchange some purchased item, and they said it cannot be exchanged. Then I said I want to speak to the manager. Then at the end of the day, they were like, oh, sir, good. I said, see, I have given you guys, business worth lakhs of rupees, and I'm not kidding. Why can't you replace something that is worth 600 rupees? Okay. So this again is what they use to target what? Potential customers. Just imagine if you are the type that always get angry or get annoyed at the basic thing. Okay. So they will put you into a segment. So this finds its application in customer segmentation, obviously. And by the way, what they did, they sent me, lots of bonuses and stuff. Today, you participate in this event, you are going to get this much if you participate in that, because they know that once they give recommendation, likely, say maybe 50% chance of me coming back and purchasing what was recommended, or somehow getting back, to them and doing business with them. So you see, this plays vital role in retention. Again, this we translate, you segment, you can also retain potential customers. So we call it customer retention here. Fine? And you can actually use this to make analysis, knowing who is likely to default, especially when you're giving a bank loan, looking at their historical data. So there are lots of use case or lots of use cases for doing sentiment analysis. So you see, now we are looking at it now from the machine learning point of view. So this is the inputs here now, and this is the output, which is what? The results and analysis. And in between is your black box. Now it's looking like black box now, okay? Fine, it's green box. So looking at all this stuff now, I think I spoke to you guys about this tool, right? But I'm not going to use this tool now because this one is not customizable. Customizable are difficult. I cannot say impossible because I have not explored, but it's almost impossible. Okay, it's difficult because it is their own tool. Okay, instead of that, I want the flexibility to use my own model, create it, and I believe Dashan knows, okay, and many of you knows that this is a Flask-based project, right? So you can see the screen. So this we deployed on Flask because if you look at this, you see here we initialize the main method, fine, and then all this stuff the magic happens. Okay, so you see the flexibility for you to choose and customize it, and in the subsequent class I'll be looking into adding authentication and maybe building a dashboard for this. Okay, instead of leaving it at the very basic. Right now. So I spoke to you about this tool, and I'm going to just open it up, and I will not do here, okay, because again, many of you will get confused. You started on Python, now you've switched to Weka. No, I want to show you this, okay. So this was what actually I was telling you before, that this Weka stands for Waikato Engineering for Knowledge Analysis, okay. So this tool is built on Java framework. I mean, it is powered on Java only. So you can see most of the information when you go to the Weka homepage. All right, and the project was implemented in Weka. So if I go to Experimenter, and then I'll be able to choose which one I want. So here I can actually configure the stuff and then choose some stuff, and then I move to Explorer tab, and I will choose any of the models which I want. Okay. So example, let's say I have a file. I'm not going to do that now. I will just open the file, I go to Classify tab, and then I perform all the analysis. However, this is not what we are interested in, okay? I want to just throw little light on that because this was what they used for the analysis. Now, if you get down, you will see, okay, he loaded a data set that consisted of a couple of things here. Okay, so this is the ID now, and you have the date created, the screen name, the followers, and all whatnot. And majority of the tweets were neutral. You can actually see it from this visualization. So the next question is, how do we actually build this? Because if you see, just on the click of a button, everything gets built. So it's giving us that false positivity, that fake idea that we can actually do it when we cannot. So because of that, we are going to build this on Python. So enough of all this talking. Let's get started building this model. Okay. Now, to build the model, since you are going to do real-time tweet sentiment analysis, please listen. Since it is real-time, we need to have Twitter accounts. So what are the steps now? So first step, we need to have Twitter account. Twitter account. Now, if you have Twitter accounts, you are going to have the basic account, right? So with the basic account, you need to upgrade. Upgrade. Now, you are not paying, okay? No payment, okay? You need to upgrade to what? Developer account. So from here, I should migrate to developer account. And there are a couple of ways to do it. You can move to developer.twitter.com or whatever, okay? Or you just sign in. Let me see if these guys are going to allow me. Okay, again, I'm going to I will not go off, okay? I will try my best just to do here. If it fails, then fine. So I'm going to go to my Twitter. Fine. Done. And I'm going to show you, like, I took screenshots because I'm pretty sure if I start demoing everything in real time, many things will happen. So, yeah. All right. So as that loads, I think I will start explaining. So applied for elevated access. Then elevated access granted. First one, developer account denied. So I'm going to show you a couple of steps, okay? Because this is what I find, I don't usually find in most tutorials, okay? Now, if you look here, I am literally inactive on Twitter. Okay, I'm using the VPN, so it's going to take a little time. But anyway, I will not wait for this guy to load completely. So let me just go to, I'll open this up, Twitter, Twitter, developer account, yeah, I think here, okay. So I'm opening both of them. So initially, I'll tell you, so initially I applied for the elevated access. I'm going to show you this, okay. So first thing, let me start from here, okay. I believe you can see this, right? Okay, so here you see it says there was a problem completing your request, forbidding your Twitter account is not eligible to access this resource. Please listen. For us to gain access to Twitter data, my needs, and in real time, okay, we need access. We need to be what do you call it? We need to have developer account. And why do we need developer account? You understand very soon, okay? Because we'll be needing access to what we call your secret key, your consumer key, and everything, okay? So initially, I did this, and it was revoked for obvious reasons, yeah? So what I did was I tried following some people. I tried adding one or two. I think I liked some posts, and after some time, I applied again. So when I applied again, I was granted access, but it was only limited to like 500 tweets per day. Now, you see, when I started the analysis, it says you currently have essential access. Please listen. You currently have essential access, which includes access to Twitter API version 2 endpoints only. So if you need access to this endpoint, you will need to apply for elevated access via the portal, right? Okay. Now, after that, finally, it was granted. You can see it here, right? So I'm going to zoom that little in. So you see, okay, see this young man here. And yeah, so now with this, I have access to 2 million tweets per month. Yeah, and it's entirely free. Yes, I applied under academic research category. All right. So let me see if this has opened. I will show you how it looks like in real time. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you can actually see it. Real-time tweet sentiment analysis. I created this project. So what we need is, yes, am I not exposing myself to hackers? Okay. Okay. So yes, as soon as this is done, I will obviously change my API keys and all whatnot. But I want to show you here. So you just click on keys and tokens. Okay. This tab, click on keys and tokens tab. Now, if I click on this, it's going to reveal only the last 5 or whatever, okay, ending of it. So as soon as I'm done, what I will do, I will regenerate, and regenerate. Okay. So this was finally, and I need access to see bearer token and access token and secret. See when it was granted, June 3rd, 2022. Okay, just last month. So this I need, and I need my client ID, obviously. Okay. So this is the secret key. If I click again, it's going to regenerate. That is my client key. Okay, fine. So I will be needing all this for me to connect to Twitter data and then do this analysis. Okay. So having said that, now let's start. So this is how my home page looks like. All right. And I can kind of, I don't want to tweet. I can kind of search for somebody. I think I was following Atik Hussain. I don't know who he is anyway. Some random people I followed. I followed Arvind Kejriwal, I think the chief minister of Delhi. Then I followed Elon Musk. And then Radiology Journal and Andrew Murphy. Some of them I followed. Okay. Now, since this is done, let's start now building this model. Okay. So the first point is we have decided on the language of choice. Okay. We now got our what? Elevated access. Fine. So let's start now connecting to that and doing this analysis. Fine. So if you see, this analysis was done on Elon Musk, right? So can we do it on another person? Obviously. So let's look into this, guys, for now. Okay, for that, I'm going to fire up my Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so this is another thing, all right? If you have been following, you see at times I switch between Jupyter Notebook, what's it called? PyCharm, VS Code, whatnot, mention them. And then especially what? Google Colab, right? Now, the question is, sir, why are you not using Google Colab, right? Because I am an advocate of Google Colab. I said you have to use Google Colab, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So the reason why you're not going to use that is, remember, at the end of the day, if you really want to run this from your local machine, right? Obviously, you need to have the data sets. I mean, you need to have the files and everything running from your machine, right? So I don't want to demo everything as if it was, how do you say, a copied project, right? Or somebody just hosted it on a server and then you are just accessing it. So that's why I'll be switching to this. So for that, I'm going to start up a new notebook for now. Okay. I hope this runs. So I'll minimize this. Okay, get back here. All right. So I hope I'm still audible. Okay. The slide is not visible, Tarun. Okay, actually, I'm not sharing any slide. I'm not sharing any slide. Okay, can you just confirm, is it visible now? Because we are going to build this now. In the next 35 minutes, we are done. Okay. So let's call it data mining and data warehousing workshop. Data mining and data warehousing webinar. Okay, session. Okay. Live demo. I believe is visible. All right. Now, for that, I'll be needing, yes, thank you. So for that, I'll be needing access to a couple of what they call it library functions, right? So those library functions, I don't need to recreate. I mean, I'm not going to recreate them from scratch. Okay. So we'll be using them. Now, I want to tell you something. Okay. Prior to this, I actually used Flair, F-L-A-I-R. Okay. So for doing this, and then in between, there was an issue, when Flair was upgraded. So many of the methods are not working. So I thought, okay, fine. Instead of that, let me just use what worked in the previous time. Okay. So for that, obviously, I'll be needing to do some exploratory data analysis. So I will start importing. So what I will do, I will not keep you here. Okay. So I will just paste all the header files, and we explain it on the go. So I'm just doing this. Now, in your case, if you do this, something like this, it will tell you Panda is not installed, NumPy is not installed, Tweepy is not installed, TextBlob is not installed. All these things you will not get. Okay. So let me just run this. Let me just run this for now and see maybe if there's an error. Okay. So you see everything is fine. I just got to this number 1. But just in case you have this like Panda is not installed, please Google it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I will just do something here. Obviously, you don't need to use this exclamation mark. In earlier versions of Python, you have to say exclamation pip install, something like this. Say pip install, say PANDAS. Now, as soon as I do this now, it's going to tell me requirement already satisfied. Please remember, your best bet will always be Google, all right? So see, requirement already satisfied. Otherwise, if I even remove that exclamation mark also and do pip install, shift enter, it's going to still work, okay? So I have imported all this now. This I will need for numeric, reading arrays and stuff like that. This is for visualization, and this is the API. So since you are seeing Twippy for the first time, remember Twippy will tell you, okay, it has to do with Twitter API. Maybe, okay? So just please look at it here. You can actually see it. Nobody knows everything, right? Even I don't know everything. So if you come across a word or maybe a method or something that sounds funny, please Google it. So it's an easy to use it for assessing what that is what it's meant for. That's it. And it has to take, it's a class. Okay? Fine. Which takes authentication. By default, everything needs to take a given number. This is actually required, right? So you can actually see how you authenticate this using this Twippy. So no problem. I believe, and then you see text blob and word cloud. I think that is the new thing you're going to see here. Obviously, Ari, we have seen that in our previous Python class. Matplotlib obviously is for visualization. Then maybe text blob and word cloud, right? So you just ask Google, what is this text blob actually? Text blob, okay? Versus, maybe I'll just say versus. So you can see NLTK, Vader, and all whatnot. So see versus, Vader versus Flare, okay? So you can do a kind of analysis on those three, okay? Or you can just say versus word cloud. Okay, I need this guy, word cloud. Anyway, it's a wrong thing actually to compare both because they are entirely different. They are used for different purposes. Okay, word cloud is used to generate, visualization that tells you the weightage of each word. You're going to see that in a while. Okay, so if I use here, maybe I will look at, since like word cloud obviously will tell you, like, say if positive sentiments or maybe words that occur more will be visualized, okay, graphed. So you see it in bold, it will be in bigger font. That's it. So for text blob, this is mostly, again, a library function for processing what textual data, right? That's it. Because whatever you're going to get will be in form of what? Text. So this is done and this is done. So we have imported all the header files. What will be the next step? Who knows? After this header file is done now I need to read, maybe I'll add comments, okay? So I'll just say now, read my Twitter API. Where is the API? Let me just see who is seen. So this Twitter API, what do you think is the API I'm talking about? Can I say API keys? Yes. And in this case, if you run this, you're going to get an error because this is a markdown test. I want it to be a markdown test. I don't want it to be as code. So I can actually call it a markdown, okay? Or it doesn't look nice, right? I can change it to a heading. Fine? Okay. Now I need to read this now. So that means, please listen. This key, okay, these sets of keys which I have gotten, I actually saved them in a file, a CSV file. I will show you how that CSV file looks like. I'm going to open it now. 1 minute. So I believe you can see it. Yeah. So this is the keys, the API keys, okay, the secret key, the access token, and the access token secret. So it's so funny. All right. So I want to read this. And what I did was I saved that in the CSV format, and both of them, they are in the same word location. So who knows how to read a CSV file now? All right. So they are in the same location. I mean, what I meant by same location. Wherever my Python file is, that is where I have kept this guy, right? So to do that, I now need to read this API key. So maybe I'll keep it in there. I just use pandas. In this case, panda will help me. Once I call read underscore, CSV. So this is where Visual Studio VS Code is better than Jupyter Notebook, because with this VS Code, actually, I forgot to download that notebook extension. Okay, because without that, I'm not able to get the code hinting and code completion. But in VS Code, you're going to get it, right? So I called it API keys.csv. I think API space keys.csv. Okay, so that's how I saved it. And I want to refer to this data. So I'm going to let it persist. I just save it in variable called log. I need this. So I will see whether it's present. Yes. So it's there. Okay. So you might want to know what is here actually. All right. So what you can do is you just print this log. Now you can actually see it. All right. So 0, 1, 2, 3. This is my consumer key. This is my secret key. This is asset token and things like that. All right. So now what I need here is for the authentication. Please look here. What is the column, row number? Now listen. Okay. What is the row number? The row number of this is 0, right? So if I want to slice out consumer key, I will now, say, okay, fine. This is what row 0, right? I am going to slice this, save it in a variable maybe called consumer key separately, right? So save them individually because when I want to do authentication, I need that. So because of that, that is what the next function is going to do, okay? So I'm going to paste this thing here, and you see I have actually separated them, right? Next, I now need to authenticate this API key. So what I will do, I'll copy this, okay? So we have actually read this. Oh, sorry. So now next, I will just come back here. I'm now say authenticate the what? API keys. Fine. So why do we need this? Remember I'm on the desktop, okay? I'm here, but I want to now, okay, in Git, if you use Git command properly, this is my local repository, right? I want to access my remote repository. So I will need this access key, okay? So because of that, I now need to use, okay, fine, authenticate. I will just use what? WP.OAT handler. That is authentication handler. Which takes in 2 arguments, which is my what? Consumer key and consumer secret. And then the access token we take, we obviously set access token, we take the remaining 2 parameters, okay? So what I will do, I will just paste this, and this is what I'm actually telling you about, talking to you about, okay? So I now need to authenticate this now. So this will enable me to see this. I have actually connected here, fine? All right, so this is done, okay? So I think I can now close this, no need, right? I don't need this, right? Fine. So after this is done now, okay, now let's get a tweet from a Twitter user, right? Okay, how about Twitter users now, okay? So in this case, I need to talk, maybe let me do analysis on Bill Gates, right? You know that Bill Gates has dropped down to the 5th richest person because he gave away 20 billion 20 billion in, I think, his savings, right? Okay, yeah. Anyway, his fortune, 20 billion fortune. So he has given it away, and yeah, he has dropped to the 5th position, and that's why, what's his name? Gautam Adani rose to the 4th position. So no problem. So now I'm going to do this analysis on Bill Gates now. So for that, I will use this, the API, okay, and then I'm going to do this analysis on a screen name. Now, when I say, okay, username, I will refer to it as screen name here, okay? So on whose I did on Elon Musk, this time around we are going to do on Bill. So what I want to do, I'm looking at his first 100 tweets. I'm going to return the first 100 tweets, fine, and obviously language of choice is English. Okay, please listen. I need to ask you guys some question now. So I tried doing on Arvind Kejriwal, okay, and I think the locale here, it was HIN, I think so, but it didn't support because if we're going to do it now in real time, we'll do it now. So let me see this. I'm returning it in post. So you see now, please listen. This gave an error. Now please look here. The error is because this is blocking it. Please look here. Failed to send the request. Maximum retries exceeded. So I'm really sorry, guys. Again, I have to switch to my mobile data because though I'm using this VPN, it's still blocking it. Okay, it's still blocking it. Now, just give me like 2 minutes. I will switch to the mobile data. I hope it's not going to buffer because if we are not able to get this, remember, we cannot do any analysis. After we get this, we're going to apply the analyzer. We compute the polarity. Then we visualize this. Similar to what he did here. Remember the thesis which I showed you? Positive, negative, and let me repeat it again in case somebody just joined now. Yeah, positive, similar to this, right? So we need to get here, right? So where we get neutral, okay, positive tweets, then negative, neutral tweets and negative tweets, okay? And we have to generate this from the Python script itself. So permit me to do this now, okay? I just hope I will be able to connect back. So I'll switch back to my mobile data, and then actually I have 2 GB remaining. I don't know why it keeps buffering. Okay, sorry, please. I will try again. Okay, I will try again. Don't get offended. I'll be back. Let me just try. I need to do this, so I'm switching to my mobile data. Okay, and let's see. All right. Okay. No, yes, Dashan. The problem is I just canceled everything, and I'm going to show you the completed notebook, because I will share this notebook right away, guys. Please, I'm going to share it to MITM students, right? Please don't share this to another student, because you are actually risking my data. So as soon as the class is over, I'll leave this up. I'll give another 2 hours, after which I'm going to change all my API keys. Okay, so I will share the same notebook so that you try it at home, write your observations, okay, and get back. You can talk to me in the college tomorrow if there is any issue. Okay, so I want you to try it out, okay, and I will summarize by just explaining, okay, guys, but I will share this right away in your group. Please don't send to your friends. I'm requesting you again. Just do that, because you're going to use my API key for this, and then do the analysis. And the next time, what we'll do is we will now kind of deploy this on Flask, and that's it. Okay. All right. Now look here, guys. So since I will not be able to do this in real time, I'm now running it from a checkpoint. Please look here. So this was done 3 hours ago. I hope you can see it. All right. This was done 3 hours ago, and on this, this was what we have done till here. I used Elon Musk. And you see, till here, there was no error, right? So what I did in the last, or what I tried to do was to get his last tweets, right? The first 5 tweets, I beg your pardon. So the first 5 tweets will be from index 0 to 4, okay? Now, I printed it. See what Elon Musk was talking about? Self-driving electric cars will be all that matters. Remember, it has ampersand. This is not cleaned. Now, gas cars without autonomy will be like riding a horse. Then you see special character using a flip phone. That still happened, but it's a niche, okay, or something like that. It's niche, something like that. Now he wrote something at Ferdinand Pierre blah blah has 13 kids. SpaceX Falcon rising through fog. SpaceX Falcon over the moon. You know, so this is his first tweets, 5 tweets. Now I saved these tweets in a data frame, all right. Then called Twitter. Fine. Now let's clean the tweets now. So you might ask, see, this is actually a wrong approach. I agree, because I did not convert to lowercase. First, you can convert this to lowercase by calling this array.lower. Okay. Now convert the entire string in lowercase. Then after that, you remove the mentions, remove hashtags, remove arity. In that case, you use small arity. Then you remove what? Hyperlinks. And you return this. So you can call pre-processing. Okay, you call it def pre-processing. Def pre-processing, it doesn't matter. Fine. So after this is done, now you apply this pre-processing on the tweet data, right? And now you see, initially it was something like this. Okay, please, I want to explain what happened, guys. I cannot do this in real time because of some obvious issues. Okay, the network is still blocking it. However, I will share this, you replicate the same code, and you'll be able to tell me, and I want to hear from you whether you are able to complete that or not. I will share this, okay, and immediately as soon as the class is over, okay? So now, this was the unclean data, right? This was the unclean data. Now, this is the clean data, okay? Falcon over the moon, can you see that? Now, this as SpaceX is removed, Falcon rising through the fog, Ferdinand, blah, 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 has 13 kids, so this is it, fine. Now let's apply a tweet to get the subjectivity and polarity. Something I was explaining to you in this from this thesis, right? So for that I used text blob, pass, see, get subjectivity method was defined or function was defined. In there I pass this text as an argument, called sentiment.subjectivity. Oh yeah, it's do all the maths behind the scene. Similarly, I call sentiment dot polarity is to do all the math behind the scene and return it in a data frame. So you see now, if you visualize this now, what I'm going to see, remember, I focus only on the first 100, right? Yes, guys? First 100 rows or first 100 records. You can think of it as first 100 records. You can increase it to 1,000, no problem. 1 lakh anyhow, okay? Because we have access to 2 million tweets, right? So no problem. So when you do that now, you're going to get this. It's like you calling the head and the tail. So the first 5, when you call on pd.head, fine, and the last 5. Then in between, the other ones will be in elliptical format, dot, dot, dot. Okay? Now, what you see is the 100 records with 3 columns now. This is the original tweet. Yes? The clean tweet, remember. The clean tweet, this is the subjectivity, and that's the polarity. Okay? So it seems here I'm getting neutral, 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 and then I'm getting like negative. Fine? So remember we used text blob for this, and now for us to get this visualization, we need to use what? Word cloud, right? Word cloud. So for that, I have said, okay, fine. All the words, now I'm going to join them. Please listen. I'll find the common words in this tweet, okay? And then I'll plot it and visualize this. Look here. Fine? And I'm using for interpolation, I'll use bilinear. All this, I don't want to get into the maths for now. This is the width and this is the height. Random state, yes, you can say 0, you can say 42, you can say anything. And this is the font size. Generate for all words. So looking at all these words in this, what was Elon Musk talking about mostly? That is the essence of word cloud. So you can see Elon Musk focused mostly on, look here, Dogecoin, car, Falcon, that is his rocket, Tesla, his company. I don't know what this AMP actually, I don't know what AMP is. And time, maybe he's so conscious about time and year or something like that. And he really spoke about Kuni, I think he's a political, and Kong, I don't know. Or yeah, he really spoke maybe Giga, Lady Gaga, I don't Giga or something like that. And already, so there are very less words, which he barely didn't focus on. So majority of his stuff revolve around himself, his company, and stuff like that. Fine. So let's now apply this now, because we now got, right? We have got the sentiments, right? So let's now kind of create a method, a function, that will be able to return either positive, negative, or neutral, right? Based on the sentiment score or the polarity score, right? So in this case now, create a function called getAnalysis. Now, assign a threshold value to it, right? If this score is less than 0, is negative. So obviously, these ones becomes negative sentiment. If it is equal to 0, is neutral. And if it is greater, is what? Positive. So can we plot this in a data frame? From 3 now, I'm going to get another column, right? So this column is what I call what? Analysis column, right? So I added this analysis column into the the data frame, existing data frame. Now I'm going to get tweets, original tweets, subjectivity, which you have seen, polarity, which you have seen, and the last one, the analysis. So now I see neutral, neutral, neutral. So now the question is, based on his 100 tweets, remember these tweets will be his recent tweets, okay? How many of them are neutral? How many are positive? And how many are negative? Can you answer that? It will be difficult, right? Unless you visualize it, right? Unless you visualize it. So for that to happen, you now need to do what now? Compute this, okay? So leave this. I need here, please look here. So you can actually create methods for each of them. So look here, guys. Positive tweets, I focus only on where it contains what? The word positive. So how many are positive? 34 of them. Remember, in 100 are positive. So can we visualize it? Yes. Okay. Let Panda help us to do that. Now, if we look at this, now I see all the tweets that are positive. Only when you call head, you're going to get only the first 5. So you can actually print only positive. So you get all the 34 of them. I hope you got what I mean. Don't say positive.head. After you apply this method on it, okay? Sorry, okay? Now, what you're going to do, drop, okay? You are going to drop the last axis, fine? Then in place equal true, and then if it contains this positive word, fine? So return that. Print it, we don't say .head, just say only positive. Now you see, will be around 34 of them. So this says there are 34 rows here, or records, and 2 columns. Similarly, do it for negative. Pass negative there. There are 14 of them. Now, lastly, do for neutral. So 52. Because, and that's kind of pointed out to what we did here, right? See, many of his tweets here at first glance were neutral tweets, right? So we go down now. So neutral followed by that. So next is how relative are they with one another, right? So you now plot this. You see the polarity, how they are kind of scattered. Many of them revolve around the center. Can you see it? Because neutral, right? So there should be around 100 data points here, okay? And many of them revolve around the center. See, if you just watch here from this 0 minus 0.25 to 0.25, many of the points revolve around here, okay? Now, better to visualize it. So this was just printing it in what percentage. It doesn't matter, okay? Just multiply by 100, get all the stuff, and then multiply. So it's fine. So you add them up, you're going to get about 100 of the tweets. Fine. Now, let's visualize. So visualizing, you see, neutral obviously accounted for 52% of his tweets. Positive is around 30-something, 34, and negative is around 12. Okay? So this ends it here. But the next thing is, how do we now deploy this? Again, guys, I cannot do it. So what I will do is maybe I will record maybe like 15 minutes video, okay? And that will be like end to end, okay, of the deployment, and then on Flask, okay, and then I push that out. But remember, this ends your data mining, analysis on real Twitter data sets, and I will share the notebook as well so that you'll be able to do it and come up with the insights. Remember, there'll be a form at the end of this class. You are supposed to fill the form. Better only run this, complete this lab, okay, on your PC from the comfort of your home, complete it, and then fill the form. Because there I'll be asking you to, give insights based on today's class. Fine? So on that note, we'll be stopping, guys, because I cannot proceed to this other one. So in case you think, again, let me just run this. You're going to see, again, I'm going to have issues doing this because it will now connect and then it will give me the same error. Okay? So let me try once in case if it happens, and then I can go and change, use another person here and make and do the tweet in real time. So by the way, all I did was, please look here. I now, instead of reading the access key, right, from CSV file, all I did was I now inserted it here, right? Created this Python, deployed it on Python, Python Flask, applied all the stuff which we have seen, right? See, everything is there, okay? Then the polarity and everything, and just ran this. Hashtag, that's all, okay? So, you see, 1 minute where we took, okay? So, you see, this, again, is kind of, let me just see if it runs. Let me just see. So, let me see. So, this will start, but let me see if I can kind of use another person, okay? So, maybe I'll try using Bill Gates now. Let's see if he's going to permit me. Okay, so let me try, instead of that, I'll use Bill Gates. Okay, I will just click on Get Analysis. Yeah, so again, so you can actually see it, right? Maximum retries and all whatnot, the same error message, okay? So the same error, okay? Just because I'm back on this network, you can see it, I'm back on the college Wi-Fi. All right, so thank you so much, guys. And if you have any questions, I will just take that and we wind up in the next 3 minutes. All right? So can I ask a couple of questions from some of you who actually listened to the end? Ananya? Prajwal? Tarun? Amanat? Diksha? Okay. Sir, stop calling our names. We are tired already. Okay. So I hope you got it. Now, I will not send the form now. Yeah. Okay, so I will share the form now of kindly fill it. But yes, exactly. So what you will do, I will not share the form right away. You have to include screenshots of the output. Okay, so I will modify the form. So you have to browse. See, once you execute this, please listen. You execute this, okay, and you have to attach the screenshots. Please listen. Don't say, sir, I don't know what to do. I'm not sharing the form right away. Listen. How you did, say example, pip install, every pip install, which you do, okay, because initially if you say import this and all, it's going to give an error. All the pip install which you did, add it there. Okay, see here, screenshot. Now here, if this was fine, no issues, just leave it. Now here also for Elon Musk, if there's an issue, how you solve that includes screenshots. I want to get this because when you run this, you are not supposed to. You cannot get these tweets because this tweet is happening in real time. Okay, this tweet is happening in real time. Okay, now at the end of it all, your word cloud will be entirely different from mine. Now listen, guys. Everybody must not do in fact, no one is permitted to do work on Elon Musk again. I have done this analysis on Elon Musk. So think of anybody. Please listen. You can take Modi ji as also as a case study, and you're going to see something. Okay. Though try to localize this language, change it from English to something Hindi. I think Hindi is not supported. Okay. Try. Do it on that and observe how your word cloud is going to change. That screenshot I need. At the end of the day also, the polarity, the sentiment analysis. Okay. Yeah, exactly. See, if you upload these screenshots, obviously I know. Don't do this, guys. In fact, I will talk to the faculty. If I see the same screenshots, marks will not be given. And I repeat, nobody is supposed to do on Elon Musk again. Nobody. Okay. I'm giving you my API keys and stuff. You have to do that. Upload your screenshots each step of the way. So I need minimum 10 screenshots. Let me start from the beginning. All you did for installation, how all the people install, do that. When you connect to the API key, okay, if there's any error, take screenshots. When you read the tweet from, say, Alvin Kejriwal ji, Modi ji, what's her name, Mamata Banerjee, anyone, do the stuff, and don't limit only on 200 tweets, okay? So maybe increase it to 500. I have access to 2 million tweets, no problem. Increase it to 1 lakh tweets, fine. Instead of you looking at only the first 5 tweets, increase it to 10. So this index value changes to what now? 9, right? Sorry, 10, you have to keep 10 here. That is 0 to 9, okay? So then do that. Next, show me the tweets after pre-processing, okay? Show me the screenshot after pre-processing, okay? And how you computed the polarity. And finally, this word cloud, I need to see it, okay? And lastly, sorry, semi-finally, okay. Lastly, the analysis, I want to see whether yours is, this mine is centrally skewed, okay, where we call evenly distributed, okay? Yours can be left skewed, it can be right skewed, it doesn't matter. So show me that. I want to see the polarity distribution. And lastly, the sentiment distribution. If you can be creative about it, you can use this plot instead of using bar plot. Kind is bar. You can use this plot. You can use any other plot. Okay. So do that, and only when we get that, okay, then we will now say, okay, fine, you guys actually did something. All right. So inform those that will never join the class. Okay. Everybody has to do this, and please listen, guys. I'll be in college till lunch hour. I think maybe we coordinate this. Every one of you is supposed to, in fact, you are supposed to bring your laptops tomorrow and show. I repeat, don't say you don't have laptop. You can do that on Google Colab as well, right? Or you complete in a friend's laptop, put it on Google Colab. You come to college, you must show that, okay? Now, screenshots will be shared. You have also to show the output. Fine, I want to see it. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. I wind up for now and see you in class tomorrow.